So the countdown is
Hello.
weird, am I right?
Every week, I honestly don't feel like we should even intro the show. We should just always
I
focus on
like
how the countdown changes, and I don't know why.
it's at 22 seconds. There is a noticeable slowdown where even like the music slows down. It makes no sense.
It doesn't. I feel like we need to call on the StreamYard people to fix it.
Gonna email StreamYard.
Yeah, exactly. StreamYard at StreamYard.com. Fix this, please.
Currently looking up their email.
Do that.
Um,
If they actually have an email, I will totally send them an email, and it will be
we can both
strongly
we
worded.
can we can both do it. Yes.
To whom it may
Contact
concern. That's
contact at
exactly how you address it.
StreamYard.com. Contact at StreamYard.com.
All right, I'm gonna type out the email
Currently
while
doing that.
when you start talking about Nope, since I have not seen it
Okay. Yeah. But
yet.
yeah, welcome back everybody. We took a week off. Mara, you wanna talk about why?
Because I got COVID and I
Yeah.
was in the hospital and I was very, very much not in a situation where I could do the show. So, I'm back. We're gonna probably keep it a little short because I'm still very much on the mend. But I'd like to just point out again, I'm not trying to politicize this in any way, but please, if you are somebody that has been hesitant about vaccines, or perhaps you haven't gotten your booster yet, if you're eligible for one, please consider doing so. My doctors told me that without my 2 shots and my 2 boosters, that the situation would have been much worse. And if I had gotten COVID before a vaccine was developed, that I would have almost certainly died. Like my body stood absolutely no chance of fighting COVID. So the vaccines do work because I would have been hospitalized much longer. It would have been maybe a ventilator situation, who knows, if I didn't have the vaccine. So the vaccine helped me. The vaccine possibly saved my life, even right now. So, it has nothing to do with politics. It's just that I care about every single person as a, tangible piece of uh, the cosmos. We're all the same value as people, regardless of where we fall on a spectrum. And I don't want anybody to have to suffer any severe consequences due to this because it sucks. As I say as I cough.
So, anyways, the real message of this is don't watch The Princess Switch 3 or you'll get COVID.
That's going to be my letterbox review for it. I told Trevor.
I'm waiting for it to happen to me. It's like the it's like the tape in the ring, you only have so many days afterwards until you get
Oh
COVID.
no.
Uh, but yeah. But anyways, yeah, science isn't political. Just yeah. Um well, let's talk about things that have happened and what we've been watching because we we
Yes.
do we do still watch things.
Oh,
That
let's
is
also
still a thing that
compliment
we do.
Trevor on his amazing new camera. It looks
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
Also,
I
the new addition of your shelves and restructuring of your physical media. It all looks fantastic.
I got a Criterion shelf where all the Criterions go, and that makes me happy. It's the Criterions plus Bo Burnham shelf. Um, this princess go. Yeah, it's like Videodrome. Just hand reaches out the screen. Um, but yeah. So yeah, I got a shelf. Prime Day. Don't like supporting Amazon, but what can you do? So yeah, Spidey's. You can see Spidey's arm here. It can rotate. He's still here.
There we go.
Say hi. Um, but yeah. So we've been watching things. Mara, do you want to talk about what you've been watching?
Yes, so I have spent a lot of quality time with my sofa and with my bed, more so than I'd even like to admit. It feels almost like lazy at this point, but I just have no energy and no strength. I decided to
Sure.
rewatch the MCU because Disney Plus is the first toggle on my Apple TV, so it was also the laziest option. And I'm in phase 3 already, and because I've made sure I've been awake for everything I've watched. So if I've fallen asleep, I've gone back and I've started it over again. So it's not like when I had my surgery and I would just watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, fall asleep in the middle of it, and just keep watching whenever I woke up because it was still on 3 hours later after I started. Um, not a dig on the movie, just a fact. Um, but yeah, I gotta say, Avengers Age of Ultron, I love that movie way more than anybody else that I know, and it's easily in the top 10. It might actually have cracked my top 5 MCU movies. I can't say for sure. I'd
Wow.
have to go back and go through that bracket that you did with me again, but
Yeah.
man, I love that movie. I treasure it so very much.
Nice, nice. We should do another MCU bracket because I can rewatch a couple that I haven't seen in a bit. Uh, we could yeah, I'd be curious to see how we landed on a combined one. Um, because yeah, what would you say like are your favorites right now?
I mean, No Way Home, I just rewatched it out of sequence because I just wanted a feel-good movie. That is 100% in my top 5, hands down. Winter Soldier is also up there. Um, you know what would be fun is you and I should do our picks and our lists, and then we should do a combined one where the audience is the tie-breaking vote for
The
when we're going through
tiebreaker
the
vote.
bracket.
Yeah,
That'd be really fun.
that would be very fun.
Oh no,
Yeah.
a wild Dan Murrell in his natural habitat.
Um,
He was sneaking across
uh,
the room like he was on camera, but he's on the other side of the computer.
cue the David Attenborough voiceover.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I feel pretty confident in my top four MCU films. Those being Black Panther, Avengers Endgame, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and Eternals. Those are pretty easily my top four. After that, I would have to work with it, and I'd say pretty easily my bottom four are Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Black Widow, and Captain Marvel. With yeah, so
Well, everyone knows
I,
that my bottom MCU movies are all the ones with women in the titles, so it's pretty easy
yes,
because I'm a
yeah,
misogynist. That's the only reason why I don't
obviously.
like them.
Obviously, or performative feminism just is like made for money, just like isn't the most genuine. um
It's actually funny though that Nick brought up. We were actually going to talk just a little bit about kind of where we're feeling about the future of the MCU
yes,
from some of the stuff that they have announced. So, Trevor, I'd love for you to go first.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Nick says, oh, you do like stuff from Phase 4 Trevor. Yes, just Eternals though. um
You
uh
liked No Way Home at least. You didn't think it was as like great as I did on rewatch, but like I think you
yeah,
still liked it though
I
overall.
enjoy it. Like I have it as of now, so I have 29 movies on my MCU ranked list. I haven't put in the TV shows, but like I have it at number 13 or 14. Like it's still easily in the top half. I still enjoy the movie. It just I don't know. It just it didn't hold up for me on rewatch. It felt very long, like without the energy of the crowd. Um, but all right. Let's talk about the MCU. So we got the trailer for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Black Panther is my favorite MCU film. It's far from perfect. But like I'm excited for this. It looks contrary to a lot of the MCU, like it actually has a strong visual style that also isn't all CGI. um like there are a lot of naturalistic elements, like the costume design and the production design looks really strong because like yes, I recognize Thor: Love and Thunder did have a like it did have a strong visual style, but it was also all animated. Like it just felt way too like glossy and like unnaturalistic and like hollow and bad. So like I'm excited for this because very strong production design elements. I mean, the world building for Wakanda, a lot of it being like physically built out, is really well done. A lot of the cinematography, particularly the underwater stuff, looked very very good. I don't know. I'm pretty excited for it. They're obviously gonna be pulling at like the heartstrings, and it's but I think it could work. But like yeah, particularly just like the visual sensibilities of this film. The cinematographer is Autumn Durald, who's done a lot of stuff with Gia Coppola, including Mainstream, which I loved. She's also an MCU vet. She did a Loki as well. She was the cinematographer on, which I think also looked pretty strong visually. So I'm overall excited for it, but I also just don't care about the MCU right now. So I'm hoping that this is the movie that can get me back in. Because I really could not care less about anything else that they announced. Like I don't care.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like I thought, for example, the Wakanda Forever trailer, it's definitely beautiful. I didn't
Hmm.
find that it like tugged at my heartstrings in the way that it did for a lot of other people, but um, I'm just
I would
not
agree
as
with the
emotional of a
trailer.
person. So that was bound to be the reaction anyway. Like I know a lot of people, I'm in like a group chat with a whole bunch of amazing people, and several people were like, I'm crying like literal tears. And I'm like, that is not how I feel about this at all.
Yeah,
But it's not that I'm
I
like,
didn't get
oh, it looks
anything from the
bad.
trailer.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't get
I'm not
anything
very
emotionally from the
emotional.
trailer. I'm just assuming that the movie is going to be pulling at heartstrings. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, of course I'm gonna see it. There are some things that I won't be able to like mentally exclude from how I feel emotionally about the movie, regarding some of the cast members, but I'm not gonna, that's not the movie's
yeah,
fault. And I
yeah,
can at least divorce myself from like, and of course I'll never steal anyone's joy. So if everyone loves that movie and I'm like, I can't get past this problematic human being, then that's not going to make me want to make anyone else not like it, you know? So if
yeah,
I don't like it, it's not going to be something where I like crap in someone else's cornflakes, because that's not okay.
yeah. I
Sorry.
do not like my cornflakes to be crapped on.
Good.
So
I mean, you can't even have cornflakes though, so
doesn't no, they have malt is the thing with cornflakes. I don't even
I'm
know what
so
that
sorry.
is, but it would kill me. So it's unfortunate. Um, but yeah,
Oh, look who we've got with us, the fan favorite himself.
yeah,
Adam, if you're
yeah.
bored,
I
I'll
mean,
send you the link to the show. I want you to talk about this.
wasn't She Hulk also in that that lineup as well in like the 80s? Like, con. What? uh,
I'm so
I
lucky. I
think
met some of the best people because of the Schmodown. I'm serious. Like, I don't know if Con and I would have ever interacted because he's like a fancy real estate person, like corporate real estate too. And I do not know anything about any of that stuff. And I marvel every single time I talk to him, and I ask him how his job is going. And he tells me how amazing and successful he is, because he is. And I'm like, how would I have ever met you if you didn't love movie trivia? And if Craig hadn't, contacted you about joining the Schmodown, like, I never would have met Con. I have so much fun with Con. He lets me abuse him, and it's really, really nice.
well, maybe that wasn't the best thing to say publicly, but
No,
we
I
can.
just mean like he watched Princess Switch 2 and 3 with us. You
Ah, I
know,
got
that's
it.
its
Well,
own form of.
that was actually his fault. He abused us. He was the one who suggested that.
He gaslighted me into thinking I abused him. Oh my God.
Yeah, you. This. You're developing Stockholm syndrome here. It's this. He's doing this to you. Um, yeah, but but yeah, I don't know. It's just the MCU just has me very disinterested right now. Um, and like that's fine. Like they announced the Avengers movies. It looks like they're gonna Matrix it, and
Hmm.
release two sequels in the same year. One of them is being done by Destin Daniel Cretton, which like sure, like the fight choreography is like was good in Shang-Chi. I honestly think the biggest failings of that movie is the intense overuse of visual effects in the final act.
Yeah.
To where it just any kind of emotional momentum we had pushing forward with Shang-Chi and Tony Leung's character, his father, like all of that was just killed when we had just like look at all these clouds and things flying around and look it's a video game portal and things keep coming out and we have to shoot all of them. Like I didn't care. I wanted to like you have Tony Leung, one of the greatest actors living today, and you're just going to cover him up with CGI. Like it's just I don't know. But like
No, I agree.
we'll see. We'll see. It's supposedly somebody else who's doing um the sixth one. It's King Dynasty is the first one, then it's Secret Wars is the sixth one. I guess Giancarlo Esposito is in talks to be Doctor Doom was something that I saw
Oh,
today.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So Like, and that would make sense if they're going to go with like the newer Secret Wars run from 2015, where it was all like kind of Doctor Doom's fault. Um, so like I guess, uh, I just also
Excuse
don't
me.
care because they haven't been making good movies and or good TV shows. Which to be fair, I still haven't seen Miss Marvel. I still need to watch Miss Marvel,
Oh my
but
gosh, please
I
watch
thought
it for me.
I thought that Moon Knight was bad. I thought that I mean I did not like Thor: Love and Thunder or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness at all. I didn't care about a Hawkeye that much. I thought it was fine. Like it just the MCU isn't doing anything for me right now. I honestly it still hasn't convinced me that it shouldn't have stopped at Avengers Endgame. Like 3 years later, like I still there's been nothing to tell me. Oh, this is why we're pushing forward. This is why we needed to keep following these characters. I mean, and like one of the first major characters to return was Thor, and I did not justify his return at all. Like it just I don't know. I don't care right now. I guess we're getting She-Hulk, which I also probably won't watch.
I mean, of
Uh,
course I'll watch it, but I don't know if I'm gonna like it.
well, I mean, you would then also have to watch it for review. I
Yeah.
I don't. So, but I guess Charlie Cox is gonna be in it or something. So, like, I guess that will be fun because we're getting the Daredevil show. So that's fun, I guess. But I just good things have not been made. Like Loki left me unsatisfied. Like I thought that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is maybe one of the worst things that the MCU has made. I would throw it in that bottom five group that I was talking about earlier. I thought that WandaVision was good, but kind of fell apart at the end, as all of the MCU TV shows have so far. Just to varying degrees. It's just I don't know, and it hurts me because like the MCU is like how I got into movies, like because I got in around like 2016, 2017, and like it's just falling apart. And like Feige announced everything for like you know Phase 6, and
Mhm.
I don't care. Like we talked about, oh well, maybe we'll see what this is building up to. We saw what it was building up to. Don't care. I just you I do not care.
Yeah,
It's
I find that I just don't have like No Way Home totally did it for me, but and I've really softened on a couple other Phase 4 movies, but I just I don't know. I feel like the enthusiasm that I had for the MCU is partially because of oversaturation, like really dwindling for
mm-hmm,
me. Because when there's a Marvel property that I can watch almost every single week for an entire year, well, really for almost
yeah.
2 years now, it kind of takes away the special feeling of it, especially when overall it's not always great. Because there were duds in even phase 1 and 2 of the MCU for sure, but because it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like a thing that kind of disappointed me after a thing that didn't really do it for me, then a thing that really kind of did, and then another thing that doesn't really do it for me, all in the span of like 3 months. It was easier to kind of not overlook the problems, but to feel like there was still stuff to look forward to because they gave you time to look forward to
Right,
it.
and there was an excitement. Um, I don't
Okay,
know.
Adam quite clearly doesn't know how much I love Superman 4, so that is not a punishment.
um, but yeah, I just I don't know. It would also be like nice if you had if you got directors like good directors and then actually let them direct, which it seems like they're letting Ryan Coogler do because I mean Ryan Coogler obviously a very strong director. If you haven't seen Fruitvale Station yet, please watch it. Coogler's an incredible director. But like we saw that with like Taika and who else am I trying to say? Sam Raimi. Both of their styles felt like very suppressed to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't get people saying that Thor: Love and Thunder is a complete Taika, is a full out Taika film. Like a full out Taika film is like What We Do in the Shadows. Like that is a full out Taika film. This did not feel like a full out Taika film. It was like just completely like it was over polished with like way too much CGI and all of the heart that we usually find in his characters, and like an uncomfortable lovability was just completely lost. Whereas, you know, when you do get a director who like is actually able to do and like commit to a lot of their style, like I think Chloe Zhao was largely able to do with Eternals, people don't like it because it doesn't feel like a regular MCU movie.
Yeah.
And like I get that that's an over simplification of like the criticisms of Eternals, but like that's a lot of what I see, and like it felt unique, it felt distinct. It didn't feel like, you know, like 20% the director and then 80% Marvel just doing whatever they wanted. Like it actually felt like it had a strong vision, and like I think that Marvel doing whatever they wanted worked for a period of time, but now I'm just tired of it. Like now I actually want variety. I want all of these things to feel drastically different and to let the directors implant a lot of their own style. But it, I don't know. Everything is just honestly feeling the same to me. And again, what you're saying, when we're getting something every week that just feels like the same thing but with different characters, like I just I don't care. They feel like factory produced products rather than actual films.
I mean, I'd love to see, like, I'd love to put a pin right in this moment and see 2 years from now or 3 years from
Yeah.
now if we're still feeling the same way, and not necessarily if there's like an increase in like quality or our overall perception, but if we still feel that way about this moment in time.
Yeah. And
Because I
again,
actually think I
I
will,
would
but
love to
that's
be
just
wrong.
me. Oh, I
I
mean,
would
it's
love to be wrong. Like,
well, and if everyone else is really jazzing with all this stuff, then like by all means, please like derive enjoyment from it. Just because I
yeah.
have less enthusiasm for it, doesn't mean that I don't want you to.
It just I don't know. It just yeah.
Excuse me.
Like, and that's fair. Nick saying the Multiverse of Madness is like the perfect balance of MCU and the director's brand. But like, I don't know. Like, have we seen like Evil Dead 2? Like, just let him do whatever he wants. Let him go full out. Just let him make like a Sam Raimi movie. Like, I don't think it even has to be the MCU brand. Like, they're established enough. Let's let people just like make movies like with Dustin Daniel Cretton. Like, I would love if that was just a flat out Hong Kong action film. Like,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. And like people are saying, like, you know, Shang-Chi's setting the standards for modern fight scenes, and it's like have you not seen like Police Story? Like,
Yeah.
like that's like why couldn't we just let directors actually make things that feel like unique and distinct, like that just instead of just imparting so much of the MCU, which is just so boring and tired at this point, at least for me. Also see a PLD. Um, and like,
It's always
and yeah,
nice when
Nick,
you stop by.
and Nick, to your point, like honestly, I do think that a lot of the things that we're getting is about the same level as like Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World. Like, I feel very comfortable saying Thor: Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, uh, like are all around that tier for me. Like I
I
just
actually am much more favorable on Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World, especially having just
that's fair.
recently rewatched both of them. So I would say that for me, they're still going to be better than, Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder. But again, that's just personal preference. Like there are people whose favorite MCU movie is Thor: The Dark World. There is someone out there
Yeah,
who legitimately
absolutely.
thinks that that's their favorite MCU movie, and that's totally cool because it takes all kinds.
Yeah. And Adam, I don't like hating Marvel.
No,
I
I
would
I
love
wish
to
it
be
had been
enjoying
more
these.
of a Raimi movie. If they had gone full
Yeah.
Raimi, that would have been amazing. I would have liked it a
Like there
lot
are
more.
obviously Raimi influences, but it still felt way more MCU than Raimi to me.
Plus,
Uh
I hope we're not hating on the MCU. I'm just saying that I'm not at the place where I was like 4 years ago is a very just different emotional place for me with how I'm
I'd
invested in
agree.
it. But I'm not like hating on it. I mean, it's still again Moon Knight and Ms.
I feel
Marvel
more like
were
a
so
disappointed
meaningful to
parent.
me.
Like I feel more like a disappointed parent. Like, but I still want my child, the MCU, to strive, and I still look for all of the best qualities in it, because I love it a lot. Um, it just isn't, just as of late. It isn't really going. I don't know. The MCU's hitting puberty right now. There's some rough moments. It's in that 13, 14 year range. Hopefully it can come out the other side a better person. Um,
I mean, hey, with if the
because
MCU hadn't had the highs that it had, they wouldn't have taken some of the swings that they've taken regarding representation. And I
yeah,
know that there's a lot of brown people in the world that haven't been represented well in media, period, in the last 20 years. But like again, Moon Knight and Ms. Marvel meant so much to me.
yeah, and that's completely fair. It's funny hearing Trevor call himself a parent. Yeah, I'm a cat parent. Um,
It's true.
uh, yeah, like it's I don't know. I would love to be loving it. It just I'm so unenthused right now. Um,
If
but
it helps, I'm definitely just not enthused about a lot of stuff right now, but that's only because I'm
it's
just so
fair.
tired.
Hey, as Blake brings up, something I am enthused about is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which I let's take a guess. What do you think my view count of Everything Everywhere All at Once is at? I
6.
now have a Blu-ray. Looking at 8.
Oh,
Uh,
dang it. I wish I'd known you had the physical. Oh, yeah. Actually, I knew you got it because I told you that
yeah,
we got it as well. I forgot.
yeah. So up to 8 right now. Um, Nick says honestly, I'm loving the way they find a way to incorporate Legion and into Spider-Verse into the MCU. I kind of don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Not everything has to be connected. Like I feel like we can just have stuff stand on its own, and that's okay. Like for instance, what DC's doing, like they have the Robert Pattinson Batman, and then it looks like Ben Affleck's coming back for Aquaman, and that's fine. We can have two Batmans at the same time. People are smart enough. Like you can just make movies. I don't understand why we have to make everything all connected. So yeah,
Well, if you want, we can call this a pivot point though. And the thing that's in our title, we can talk about Nope. Well, you can talk about Nope. I'm excited to hear what you think
yeah,
about it. Also,
yeah.
one that I've seen people are fairly divisive on. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Logan Paul of it all because I didn't read any of that because I didn't want any spoilers. But
Yeah,
again, I'm in this awesome group chat with awesome people, and a lot of people were like, "This gives me very much he didn't see the movie vibes," and I would just love to know your 2 cents on all
no,
of this
I
because
I,
when is it not great to talk about Logan Paul?
I think that Logan Paul did see the movie. I don't understand why you would publicly admit that you're too dumb to understand a movie. That like really wasn't like Nope is a movie that yes, it's Jordan Peele. There are a lot of underlying themes. But you can also just watch this as a surface level movie and have fun. Like there aren't things that you have to like, understand on a deeper level to just enjoy the movie. I think similar to Get Out, and Us even. Like Jordan Peele does a really great thing where you can watch it surface level, but on rewatches you can look at things from a different perspective, and they still make sense. Like like with Get Out, like you can watch that movie the first time, and all of the character motivations check out. Everything works perfectly, and then knowing what you know, with the twist and everything that comes leading into the third act, you can watch the movie again with that knowledge, and everything still makes perfect sense, and you're going to pick up on a lot of the subtle like visual like messaging that Peele is doing, and like but you can still just enjoy it as a fun like like a escape horror movie, and like it still works as that. With Nope, it works as like a Spielbergian, like almost M. Night Shyamalan esque like spectacle, but you can also read into it if you want. I don't understand how it was confusing. Everything's like pretty well laid out for you to understand the narrative. I mean, but I don't know. I think one of the big uh I don't know. I think one of the big things like that I've been seeing is that um there are like plot holes. Like people are doing the CinemaSins thing where it's like ding,
Mm.
this thing didn't match up. But like, I don't know. I don't
Well, also, a
understand our
plot hole
obsession
is
with
so different than an inconsistency or,
right.
like an actual plot hole. Okay, I told Dan, I was like, you need to make a video about this. Explain what an
Yeah,
actual plot hole is. Because most people just say, oh, that's such a plot hole. And it's like, but it's actually not.
yeah. And Brandy, I would definitely suggest seeing it again because like you're going to get so much out of it each time that you see it. Like, yeah, I don't know because a movie doesn't like the only way to make a movie isn't it just being a very tightly written narrative piece. Like a movie can also just be conveying themes. Like look at Cronenberg's work. Does all of the narratives like completely match up? Look at David Lynch. Does it narratively make sense? No. But what he's trying to do is convey emotions and feelings and themes and ideas through what the characters are doing. And that's fine. Like the characters' motivation, like what they're doing, that doesn't entirely have to match up if you're using your characters to convey ideas and themes and messaging. That's just another way to make movies. I don't know why we're trying to place like rules around movies that for it to be a good movie, it has to have a good narrative. That seems incredibly limiting. Like you can make like film as an art form can be used for so many different things. And for this movie, Jordan Peele like it seemed like he was focusing a bit more on the themes, but I think what makes the movie so good is that you can enjoy it without diving too much into the themes. Like you can just watch it as a spectacle. And what's really interesting with that is I think the biggest theme of the movie without like I don't think it's that spoilery, but like he made a spectacle movie about the problems of human obsession with spectacle, which I think is very, very fascinating. And I won't say any more about what contributes to that. Um, but like, yeah, I don't know. It felt like it worked really well for me, particularly the sound design and the score, just like astonishingly good, just absolutely incredible. Like with awards, I think the biggest thing that this could be looking at is sound, because there is I'll be incredibly nondescript. There is a scene where you are inside of a house with characters, and there is a thing going on outside of the house, and especially like in a theater, how you are hearing the thing that is going on outside of the house is like terrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. Um, yeah, Blake. So the chimp storyline. Yes, that's all I will say. I've recorded and I am just finishing editing right now a video analyzing all of that and how that connects with the rest of everything else that will be coming out on my channel soon. Because I had a lot to to say about that. Because yeah, I think it does all connect very well. But if you also just want to have like a fun time at the movies with like a horror spectacle film, I don't like you can also just enjoy it. Like you can look at this movie in lots of different ways, and I personally think that all of them work. Um, but yeah, so but going back to everything, like KK Palmer,
Hmm.
my God, like let her star in absolutely everything. Just one of the most like magnetic, just fun, energizing performances I've seen all year. Like she's so good, and her chemistry with Kaluuya is great because he plays like a very like low key like uh, what's the word I'm looking for, like almost like nondescript character that it doesn't have a very strong personality. Not I wouldn't say mysterious, but just like very stoic, I guess.
Hmm.
And they play off of each other so well. Um, it's just it's so fun to watch. Steven Yeun is great. Also, there is a actor in it who is the young Steven Yeun, Jacob Kim, who actually lives in my town. Um,
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's so cool.
So, yeah, his dad is a professor, so I might reach out to him, see if I can talk to him for an interview because it, YouTube. Um, but
Do it. See if you could get
but
an interview for the basement. Duh.
yeah, yeah. Uh, um, but yeah. So it, there's another character, a film director that comes in throughout the film, and I think that his character does some very, I'm gonna say this very vague. Um, on a surface level, the character is just very funny and serves very well as like a deadpan comic relief. On a deeper level, I think that character says something very interesting about how vague Black history is. All I will say. That I think is very, very fascinating in how the world views Black history, and I will leave it at that. But yeah, just
Hi,
overall,
kitten.
there's this movie's so much fun. It's very funny while also being very terrifying. The cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema, whoa, whoa. Like his blues and blacks are so strong, and the lighting that he chooses, and there's so many like in camera effects that are just so incredible. Um, yeah, like
Okay.
it's so good. Um, I just I love this movie a lot. If you couldn't tell, I absolutely adored this movie. Does everything work? No. The but like I think
Okay.
it's simultaneously so fun, while so smart at the same time. I think that it can appeal to a lot of people, pun intended. Um, and like, yeah, I know. I had a lot of fun with it, watching it, and I had a lot of fun, thinking about it afterwards. So
I can't wait to see it so that way we can talk all of the particulars.
yes, yeah. But I really, really love this movie. Um,
Hello, cat.
what else have we been watching though? Um, oh, I rewatched Goodfellas a couple days ago.
Oh, cool.
Um, I don't love it as much as everybody else, but I think it's good. I would say it falls into that category for me of like it's objectively good, but not necessarily my vibe. I don't love crime films and gangster films. Those just have never appealed to me personally. But I think that you would be absolutely insane to say that that movie wasn't very, very well made. Like, very well edited, very well shot, very well acted. Like, it's an objectively great movie. Just, like, isn't my type of film, but I mean, just obviously very good. So, and I think that that's a distinction that people, especially on the internet, need to learn to make more. That there's a difference between, being good and bad, but also, uh, like not your
Cat.
vibe and not your vibe. Those are two very different things.
Cat.
A movie can be bad while it being your vibe, and it can be good while it not being your vibe, and both of those are fine. How would I rank Peele's movies? Oof. Get Out's definitely number one. It's close between Us and Nope. I would probably I guess I'd go Get Out, Us, and Nope by default by now, just because I have only seen Nope once. And I've seen Nope multiple times, but Nope could potentially pass up Us on rewatch. But I mean, I absolutely adore all of his films overall. Just the way he's able to convey socio-political messaging through genre is just like unmatched, at least to me. Um, what else have you been
Us hit
watching,
me
Mara?
differently than most people, so that's
Yeah,
definitely my favorite.
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, again, with just the messaging of the like how he tackles like class disparity and looking at class solidarity and like how we look at like privilege and just how people like disparity and oppression isn't necessarily just through identity. It can also just be through your living status, and like I don't know. There's so much that he's saying with that movie that I think is really really strong. Like
Well, I
I
also
also
just like the face value aspect of it about like tethered as a concept for
yeah
twins. So that
yeah that's
that
also
obviously
good.
spoke
Yeah
to me a lot. Like just again, that's the more surface level
yeah.
thing to grab onto, but that also really connected with me.
But that's also the magic of Jordan Peele's films. Like there are
Hmm.
so many aspects that can appeal to so many different people about all of his movies. Um, I
Poor
mean, yeah, no,
cat.
I absolutely adore all three of those films. Like, you know, if we had to apply a number rating, oh kitty, if we had to apply a number rating to them, which I mean, I think can be a bit reductive at times, but like, it's just a way to generalize your feelings. Like, none of them would be below an 8 for me. All of them are like 8, 8.5 or higher. I really really love all of his movies. So, uh, yeah. But what else have you been watching, Mara?
Let's see. I have to use my brain.
Ooh, that's always rough. I hate when I
It
have to do
is.
that.
I've been catching up a little bit on my true crime podcast.
Fun.
Morbid, by the way, love it. The two girls are great. They're getting ready to do a Buffy rewatch podcast that I'm hoping
Ooh.
Dan will be able to plug for them at some point. So fingers crossed that that works out. Um, what else have I been watching? It's so weird. I know it sounds stupid to be like, how do I not remember what I did 2 days ago? But time is very weird for me right now.
That's fair. That's fair. You feel like you're in a
Oh,
Nolan film.
cat.
That's Which,
Oh,
speaking of
wait a minute.
Nolan, the
I watched
Oppenheimer
Blade
trailer.
Runner.
Oh,
By the
fun.
way, I did watch that again. It's still fine to me. Um,
I prefer 2049 in all honesty.
I mean, Rutger Hauer is what makes the original Blade Runner worth it for me because once I get to that last 25 minutes, the movie is just so solid. Also
Yeah.
watching the final cut because you have to actually specify
Yeah.
that. But yeah, no, Blade Runner 2049 definitely jams with me.
Honestly, the first Blade Runner just feels a bit like a bit quieter version of Fritz Lang's Metropolis
Mm,
to me. Like it just feels like a bit of a watered down version of that film. If you have you seen it?
yes.
Okay.
Um, Also, by the way, I watched The Secret of Nim for the first time for Movie Club, and
What is that?
it's weird. It's like um, Don Bluth's first mouse rat movie.
Oh. I love the specification. Okay. That's a
Yep.
letterbox list for sure. Tom Bluth rat movies.
Yes, to answer your question, by the way, we have both seen it.
Oh yes, we did. I adored it. I I mean, I just found it very delightful.
I liked
Like,
it. I liked that it was sincere and cute without being saccharine, but it also
yeah,
didn't like try to go for huge emotional swings. It just felt very um,
like
enjoyable.
genuine. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like genuinely enjoyable. Like, I mean, there wasn't and it does say a lot about like community and like family and like what people in your life can do for you, and like it also looks at the like how we love people and how different people need different types of love, and like it is saying a lot of very fun stuff while also just being so delightful at the same time. I think Dean Fleischer Park, I believe, is the director. Very talented. I love the framing device for it, of it being like almost like a mockumentary. And I think that his character arc is also like kind of interesting and very understated. And like how it looks at like internet fame and like yeah,
Yeah, Dan and
I
I
don't
were
know.
talking about it, like the line where it's like, this is an audience, but not a community. Like that's
Yes,
the internet and
that
that's
hit me
YouTube
very
as a
hard.
whole.
Yeah, that hit me very hard. Like, yeah, I really really adored it. Also, Jenny Slate, like, what a year she's having. I want you back, everything, everywhere. Now this, like, yeah. I'm not. To answer your question, Nick, I'm not that excited about Bullet Train. It's what's the director's name? It's the Deadpool 2 guy, right?
Um,
Uh,
David Leitch.
David Leitch, yeah. Or did he do the first? No, he did the second Deadpool, right?
Yeah, Tim Miller
Yeah.
was the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't really like Deadpool 2 that much, and yeah, no, this movie, like, it looks like a very fun concept that could also just it just looks very dull, and I don't really care about it. Like, the thing that I'm excited about for next week is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. You know me, contractually obligated to love everything A24. But also we got Rachel Sennott, who gave one of my favorite performances last year in Shiva Baby, which I will still not shut up about. I mean, also Amanda Stenberg, Maria Baklova. I mean, it looks like a great cast. Uh, so like,
I'm
yeah,
definitely excited about the concept of Bullet Train just because I am a sucker for really excellent practical fight choreography.
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, I feel like you know exactly what you're getting with it from the trailers, and that's not a bad thing. But I'm also much more excited about Bodies, 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 and we're lucky enough that pending the results of COVID tests, that we get to see it. We have a screening invite for it next week, so I'm very excited about that. Um,
yeah.
and actually, we were just talking about this right before the show, Nick, in response to your earlier comment. I'm super excited for Prey because, again, I'm a sucker for that franchise. I'm not saying I've loved every movie because I definitely didn't love the last one, but I might have persuaded Trevor, who's never seen any of them, to do something
Yeah.
really fun next week.
So yeah, I've never seen a Predator film at all. I'm very lacking on that universe as far as the Alien films. I've only seen Alien and Aliens, but never seen a Predator film. So next show we're going to be watching the first Predator because I
Yes.
wanted to watch at least the first one before I saw Prey. So we're going to do that, which should be fun. Which should be fun. And Blake, I would love if A24 sponsored us. Um,
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah,
feel free,
I'm
please. We
kind
we
of
will
obsessed.
definitely do that.
Uh, but yeah, we'll be doing a watch along of Predator next show. Also, you know what else comes out next weekend that just nobody, it's just completely under the radar, and it should be a big thing. Is Ron Howard's latest film, 13 Lives, drops on Amazon Prime, unceremoniously at the beginning of August. Could have been an Oscars thing, but reviews have been bad.
August? Oh my God, yeah, August happens in like a day.
Yeah, yeah,
Where'd July go?
I don't
Oh,
know.
that's right, COVID. Um,
The past. Um, yeah, 13 Lives comes out. I'll be watching it. I'm not looking excited. As Jeffrey Kahn says in the chat, just go watch The Rescue instead because The Rescue is a phenomenal documentary from last year, and
it sure
I
is.
would
It
love
got
to see. I
snubbed.
hope that there is a video of Ron Howard like seeing the trailer for The Rescue as he's in production on 13 Lives, just absolutely losing his mind, um, because yeah. So it doesn't look very good. Um and but I'll be watching it because Oscars. So uh
Yes.
yeah,
Sorry.
you're good. You're good. Seems like people are sympathizing with your feeling of loss for the month of July. Um but yeah, but no, I am excited for Prey. It's getting some pretty strong reviews. Um but
Which is so funny
yeah.
because so many people are doing those like, um, I'm just walking out of the theater reactions, and
Mhm.
there's an embargo, and it's like, oh no, it's not a review because it's a reaction. It's like, no, if you're talking about what you think and thought about the movie, it's kind of a review.
People do that on Letterboxd all the time.
It's just kind
Like,
of irritating because some people have to follow embargo rules or else they
yeah,
get like totally crapped on, and it's a big deal, and then they won't get screening invites again. And other people
yeah,
can just violate embargo as much as they want because they get views, so it doesn't matter.
yeah. So Nick, okay. So yes, 13 Lives has the 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know a couple of people that have seen it already. that hated it. So I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, it's Rotten Tomatoes. I think is also just a relatively poor signifier of thoughts on movies. I prefer to look at Metacritic because that actually takes like the 1 out of 10. Like it actually takes your rating of it rather than just did you like it or did you not, which I think can be. I mean, everybody could have been like it was like 6 out of 10, and it would have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not a reflection I think of the quality of the film. So I don't know. Ron Howard just isn't a director that I particularly love. I think that Rush is very good, and he hasn't made a good movie since.
I'm very hit or miss. I mean, you never really can tell how it's going to hit with me.
Yeah,
So, excuse me.
yeah.
I was going to get more
Um.
tea before this, but then I didn't.
Oh, you know what I also watched? I watched Elf because
Oh, wow.
it was randomly on AMC, like the TV channel, and it was um like
What
midnight,
a way to say
and I
that.
said,
AMC, the TV channel.
yeah. So yeah, it was like midnight, and I was editing something. It was like I guess I'll watch Elf. So I didn't necessarily watch it since I was editing while doing it, but Elf was on while I was around. I guess would be the better way to say it. Um, yeah. Oh, I also haven't talked about RRR yet because I watched it again, just to pull some thoughts, and like it's very fun. I enjoyed RRR a lot. I wasn't completely sold after like the first hour and a half, but eventually I just like gave in. Like I think it's definitely overlong. I think anybody who's supposed to be playing a British character is not great. They aren't written very well, and it's American actors doing very bad British accents. They sound very Australian at times, but like I was just completely won over. I think the scene that really got me was when they drive the truck. I don't think spoilers is that big. Like they drive the truck into like the courtyard, and then the animals all jump out with them. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm here for it. It's just a fun time. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Um,
I think that
yeah.
both the people that play the monarch and whatever, I think they're both Irish,
Mhm.
by the way. I don't think that they're
Are they
American.
Irish? Okay, I knew there were a
I'm
couple
pretty
of
sure that Allison Duty and Ray Stevenson are both Irish.
Okay,
Um, fact check me at
I knew that there
internet.
were a couple of American actors, but yeah. Uh, let's see. Um,
That is
uh,
so true.
that is very true. Oh, and then I was for my show Oscars Were Wrong. We were my co-host Thomas left on a like 3 week trip. So we pre-recorded a couple episodes of our show Oscars Were Wrong. Got 2018, 2017, and 2016 in the bank. Um,
Ooh.
but I watched and rewatched a couple of the 2016 things. I rewatched Hidden Figures, which I just think is fine.
I'd love to
Like,
rewatch it. I enjoyed it, especially just for again the historical context of it all. I found the oh God, my brain doesn't work. Sheldon,
Jim
Christopher
Parsons,
Sheldon. Yes, thank you. I found his character to
Bazinga.
be a little insufferable. But just because it's like, how overly villainous can you make your villainous character be?
Yeah.
But I'd love to
Hey,
rewatch it and just see if I've softened on that aspect of it.
hey, I Jim Parsons is going to be in the Oscars conversation this year, which I will just throw out for spoiler alert. Michael Showalter, director of Eyes of Tammy Faye and The Big Sick, is directing him in a biographical film about a gay entertainment writer who's living in the like through like the last 11 months of his husband who's dying of cancer. So he's going to be doing a very Beatty performance, and it's based off of a critically acclaimed book. And nobody's really talking about this movie, but Focus Features is releasing it like December 16th. So
That
just keep an eye on
100%
that.
sounds like your Oscars AI that just like poops out every single
Yeah,
component to win an Oscar. Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's Michael Showalter. He just directed Jessica Chastain to an Oscar, taking Jim Parsons, who's like, I mean, won so many Emmys at this point. Makes sense for a TV actor to
I
transfer
will say
over.
though,
Like,
like winning Emmys for Big Bang Theory is not exactly like indicative of great acting though. It's just indicative
I
of like
agree.
the cultural
A popular show.
zeitgeist
Yeah,
telling people that they have to like it.
I agree. I'm just saying we see all the time Emmy-winning actors transfer over to an Oscars.
No, yeah, you're
Um,
absolutely.
so yeah. Eh,
I didn't say it, but I put it up on the screen. So that's funny. Well, that stuff to show dead in its tracks. I love that. Thank you.
It's funny because it isn't even AIDS. Like, it's
Golly, this took a turn. Man, I wouldn't have it any other way. This is the best show to come back to. Because I'm almost at take your temperature time because I don't feel good. But this is so worth it. This is totally worth it. Oh, cool. We ruined a perfectly good beverage.
We still need to. Well, once you're doing better, we need to make our clips compilation.
I know. I've actually
Um,
collected a few. Garth sent me a suggestion for one, and I've already pulled that one.
yeah. Garth says, well, I've had AIDS since 1984, so it's always been fresh in my mind. It's fair. Sorry about that. But
Well, no, yeah. Oh, I also I hope that like
we
that
aren't
didn't mean that
making
we were
fun of
making light
AIDS.
of
Yeah. Yes.
the actual
You should
suffering of people
specify.
that have HIV and AIDS. I just want to make that very clear.
The comment just caught me very off guard.
Yes, and only honestly because there are times when Hollywood capitalizes on the
Yeah.
pain and suffering and the long-term consequences that are like still societally associated with HIV and AIDS for their own
Yeah.
benefit. So
I
that's
mean,
also
we
more a
see that
statement
all
against
the
like
time. I mean,
Hollywood.
also with like racism with trans people. I mean, Hollywood loves making torture porn for the white straight people. Like, so yeah, it's yeah. Uh, Garth would never make morbid dad jokes. But anyways, moving away from AIDS. Um, yeah, Hidden Figures is fine.
Again, you're the one that said it.
I I watched Hell or High Water for the first time.
Oh, I love that movie. Did you like it? I hope you liked
I
it.
liked it. I liked it. It didn't completely do it for me, but like I don't know, I think it's a very strong approach to tackling how banks can not be the best things and how we shouldn't always have faith in our institutions when it comes to economics, and how
Yeah.
maybe they aren't looking out for our best benefits and they're just trying to make a profit.
Oh my God, you don't
Um,
I've never heard that before.
maybe.
Oh, Brandy, please tell me you're seeing it on film. Oh my God, I hope you're seeing it on film.
Sorry, I
Oh,
just Garth moving away from AIDS. I'm packing my suitcase.
I did. I just saw that. Sorry.
um, but yeah, that's very fun. Um, but yeah, I with Taylor Highwater, I mean, yeah, it's very very well written. I think the performances are all very good. I think the cat and mouse structure works very well. Um, it didn't like it dragged a bit for me. I think I could have saved around like 15ish minutes off of it. But so yeah. And no, Nick, I had this opinion about Banks before this movie. This movie just I enjoyed that it affirmed that. I will say complaint with Hell or High Water is I did not like the cinematography. It felt very um like I don't know, a lot of the angles that they took with it just felt very unmotivated when they were dealing with the wide open plane. Like I think all of the stuff where they're in the car and like all the bank heists are shot very well, but anything where they're just out in the open, is just like it feels very kind of like washed out and like like the saturation is very inconsistent. There are some shots where it feels oversaturated and some where it feels undersaturated. I don't know, and maybe I was just spoiled by the cinematography of things like Nomadland and The Rider, looking at like the west and like the wide open plains, but like that bothered me a bit. But like overall, I did really love the movie. I mean, yeah, Chris Pine is a great Chris. Far from the worst one that also starts with a P. Um, but
Wow, that's a bold take.
is it that bold? Um,
I don't
so
know. I'd say that people find him inoffensive and enjoyable as an actor. I'm not saying that that reflects him as a person or that I share any of those opinions. I just think most people are like, "Oh yeah, he's in stuff." I mean, oh, by the way, The Terminalist, I really did enjoy that, by the way. So, speaking of that person, um, yeah, I think I had
uh,
finished it before we did our last episode that I was actually here for, but still though, just want to point it out that I enjoyed it.
Brandy, I would agree with that. Yeah, Pine, Evans, Hemsworth, Pratt. I think I'd agree with that. Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see. I rewatched Moonlight. It hit me even harder this time. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies ever. I just ever, ever, ever. Um, just it's Moonlight. Like I could talk about this movie for hours. Like, how much time do we have? I just love it a lot. Oh yeah, speaking of Chris Pine, there was the Dungeons and Dragons trailer, which like looked like a thing that's going to happen. Um,
Yeah.
it sure was a thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I also watched The Lion for the first time and did not like it.
I I remember
I
finding it fine.
um like it's I don't know. It feel like I think the first half of it where it focuses on the kid played by I think Sunny Pawar very strong. I think when we moved to Dev Patel, I found Dev Patel very unlikable, and I don't think that I think the back half of that is very overly melodramatic. Like we all know where the film is going to end up. I mean, for those unfamiliar, like history spoilers, he gets back together with his family. Like it's like to be fair, this was 2 weeks, and also I felt like I didn't watch that much this week. Typically typically I'll watch like at least a movie a day, and I was slacking this week. But that's also just me being psychotic and addicted to logging things on Letterboxd. So, um, Letterboxd has not been good for my time management. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like I mean I think that like it's Claire Foy, right, in Lion. Um,
I don't
just
remember.
sorry, Rooney Mara. I always get them confused. Rooney
Okay,
Mara.
yeah. Sorry, I was
Um,
like, that doesn't sound right.
uh, no, yeah, Rooney Mara just feels very wasted. Like it just I don't know. I feel like we all know where it's going to end up in that back hour, so it just feels like so many overplayed melodramatic things. Like, his relationship with Rooney Mara and like the brother that just amount to nothing all to get to that last minute, and it just feels very unearned, I guess. So I don't know. I didn't really like it. It was largely inoffensive. I just found it boring. Um, and then the last thing I did was I rewatched Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a perfect movie, and we can move on. I love it a lot. We need Fred Hampton was great, and sad that he was murdered when he was 21. So yeah, can't wait to see what Shaka King, the director, does next. Um, but yeah, I don't know anything else that we want to talk about. Also, a shout out to Oscars film forecast in the chat. Um, I don't know. Did you have anything else? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Okay.
One thing actually, I'm really excited because we've got over a dozen people here, which thank you everyone just for popping over, saying hello, tuning in, being active in the chat. We love to see it. Um, so obviously I've been a little sidetracked due to the illness,
Mhm.
but I'm still working on the launch of the baking channel, and I had a thought.
Yes.
I'm constructing a like a Google survey type thing because I'm getting ready to try to structure like Patreon tiers and then like a release structure and stuff for the YouTube channel because Patreon's going to have exclusivity for at least a month at a time. So the great news is it does benefit you to have early access if you would like that. But I can only look at every other baking person's Patreon and see what they do. And I mean, do things that are similar as far as like, what types of things you offer as benefits at what tiers. And so I want to hear from people that actually think that they would be interested in watching both on the YouTube side or on the Patreon side. And I'm going to make a survey to ask people like, what do you want to see? Like I have a lot of different ideas for playlists and for types of videos. And I'd also like to hear just, off the top of people's heads, like, what is it that you would like to see? Because I'm doing it for me in the sense that like it's something that I'm going to find really satisfying. I'm going to find a new way to connect with people and to maybe get people to go out of their comfort zone and try to do something different, like bake something. But it's also like making a product for people, and I want people to enjoy it. So please stay tuned for that. I'm hoping that I can have it ready by next week, and it'll be live for a long time. I want to get as many responses as I can. It will be anonymous, so you can do the survey and tell me I'm a horrible person, and like you could like verbally abuse me, and I won't be able to know who you are. So I'd
Let's see,
like it to be
where can I
constructive,
find the
though.
survey? Um,
But please stay tuned for that because I want to hear
Absolutely.
from you guys because it's going to be stuff for you. So um, thank you all the enthusiasm that I'm already seeing in the chat. So stay tuned for that. I am one tease though. Robert Parker has already confirmed, and I don't know if he's listening because he's texting me. So I don't know if he's actually watching or if he's just texting me. He doesn't know that I'm announcing this, but he's confirmed that he's going to be visiting me again for Labor Day weekend. So we will be able to do something to Robert Parker on this show that weekend. So
To him,
please stay
yes, not with
tuned.
them. To him.
Exactly. Um, so you know what? Also, like, tweet us some suggestions. What do we want to make Robert Parker do with us that weekend? I know he and I are gonna be watching a lot of movies because that's just what we do. But is there a watch
Wait,
along you guys
really?
would want to do with Robert Parker? Do we want to play some games? Do we want to like what do we want to do? So he doesn't really have a choice. Uh, I'm taking away his autonomy, as one does.
Yes, yes. We're acting just like the government. It's crazy. Taking inspiration. Um,
Oh man, you took it to a serious place.
I, sorry, my brain is unhealthily focused on politics at all times.
Okay,
Um,
hold on. I want to tell one teeny tiny story, by the way.
okay.
So again, I'm not like attacking anybody for their likes, dislike, thoughts, and feelings politically, but I just have to tell this story from my perspective. So
I might,
when I
but
was at the hospital, you're in like this hermetically sealed COVID room, and they have to put on like full PPE and everything to come in. So like you're basically there alone for hours at a time, unless you're dying. And I didn't know like which buttons were the right buttons to push when I did need something, so I like didn't press them, and I was very uncomfortable. But anyways, my TV was stuck on Fox News, and I had a thought for a moment because I think part of it was anxiety, but part of it was also just that I was getting sicker. I started finally having like some shortness of breath and having some trouble breathing. Like I could no longer take deep breaths, and I was starting to kind of like freak myself out. And I had just a thought for a moment, just for a second. I was like, I'm gonna die listening to Tucker Carlson, and that is the most depressing way that I can think of to go right now. Um,
I
so
I I
0 stars. Do not recommend that COVID room at the VA hospital in Little Rock. So yeah, do not subscribe.
I love watching Fox News all the time, just for the laughs. I do find it very funny. Um, I will say, Mara, we can wrap this out. I'll read some Letterboxd reviews.
Oh,
Some
okay.
uh some Letterboxd reviews from this week. Um, I'll
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I'll read out a couple of the most
Oh,
popular reviews
Cam,
of
your
the week.
birthday's near Trevor's birthday ish.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah. So a review for Nope. I'll keep all the Nope ones non-spoilery. This movie does for cloud spotting what Jaws did for swimming.
Oh my gosh.
read out a couple more. For a Persuasion, did you see this? I didn't. But it's an
What is it?
adaptation of the Jane Austen novel starring Dakota Johnson.
Oh, no thanks. Sorry, Jane
So,
Austen and I don't exactly jam.
but this review was a half star and read, I can't explain it, but Dakota Johnson being in a period drama is like the human equivalent of that time they left the Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones.
Oh man, remember when that was like the height of internet controversy? How simple things used to be.
We got some from The Gray Man, which I still haven't seen and have zero intention of watching, just because I don't.
Oh, come on, Chris Evans is a sociopath and you never knew you needed it, but you did.
I but
You
I
did.
Everything about this movie seems like something that I would hate.
Chris Evans torturing people is delightful to behold.
That's a clip. Um, but for the Gray Man, the biggest takeaway from this movie is that Anna de Armas needs to get her own standalone spy movie ASAP. And if it's anything that I saw in No Time to Die, where I think she was criminally underused, like sure, sure. Um,
Oh, one thing I will say though, by the way, Ana de Armas's character in The Gray Man is essentially useless. Like, she really sucks at the whole like physical fighting thing, and I'm not saying the actress, I'm saying the
mhm,
character. Because
yeah,
every single time she fights anybody, she just gets like thrown across the room into something and like can't quite fight as well after that. She like I don't know why they wrote her character to be so inept at physically fighting. It's like,
because she's
why?
a woman.
Well, that's why women can't do everything men can do.
That's why we need men writers to write female characters being bad at things. Um, Another review of The Gray Man. Baz Luhrmann's John Wick. Which fair enough. We got Thor Thor Love and Thunder. Great first draft. Excited to see it when it's finished. Um let's see. We got one for Baywatch 2017.
Oh dear.
Sometimes I used to eat sand as a kid for the crunchy salty taste.
That that seems
I
like a
don't
them
I
problem.
I don't know. Um Amber, a friend of ours, literally took us when we saw The Gray Man at Paris. I'm not disappointed Ryan Gosling took his shirt off. Maybe I should see this. I don't know. Uh, let's see. Uh, okay. We can end on this one. Thor: Love and Thunder. Christian took the money and bailed.
I'm a big fan of
That
there's an account, hold on Twitter that has been popping up in my feed recently. The little image is of Bob from Bob's Burgers, but I don't remember what the account is called. Hold on.
I will say, I will recognize a couple of
Oh.
Letterboxd accounts. There's Lebertoxd and Letterbox reviews with threatening auras,
Here
which
we
are
go.
both very good.
It's just called Puns.
Okay.
And it's for example, my boss told me that as a security guard, it's my job to watch The Office. I'm on season 6, but I'm not really sure what it's got to do with security. That's all the account is, and it's just the avatar is Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Oh, and we got a Jeffrey Kahn shout out on Twitter. Uh,
We
said
did?
Jeffrey Kahn follows when you showed the
Oh,
screen. Good meta.
maybe
Um,
that's where I get it from.
oh, we're figuring it out. It's all Jeffrey Kahn's fault, just like the Princess Switch movies.
I don't know if the movies are his fault.
He's the reason I watched them. Um,
That's true. Oh,
but yeah. Other things that also how do you do a Twitter thread? We've done that before.
oh yeah,
Um,
that's right.
Making you watch those movies was a gift to humanity. Fair. Uh,
Why do I have a feeling that like 15 years from now, Khan is going to be some sort of like dictator that will have decided to genocide a certain subsect of society, and we'll go
What?
back and someone will trace it back to right here, saying that that was a gift to humanity, and saying like, okay, he clearly does not have any empathy for human beings. There's something wrong. Irreparable
Okay, Hitler.
damage. I didn't
Um,
see
but
Hitler. I mean, there's a lot of other people that have been like, you know what? I just hate this whole subset of people. Let's just kill
Genghis
them.
Khan, maybe another one. Uh,
Khan Noonien Singh.
Yo, we're making all the Khan connections. Um,
Good grief.
yeah. Other minor things that happened. We got another trailer for Blonde, and it looks very good.
I've
Um,
I've never thought you were excited about this movie. This is weird.
yeah. Have you seen the cinematography? I'm going to cry. It looks astonishing. Um, yeah. And there is also the lineup for the Toronto International Film Festival and Venice International Film Festival. I won't talk about those too much, but I have videos on my channel. So
Ooh, okay, yeah, I will. I'll edit our description to include links there.
yeah, Venice one is out. TIFF one is coming out tomorrow. So lots of fun things. Lots of fun things. I'm very excited to get into festival season and award season.
Ooh, the
So
HCTV Awards are in just a couple weeks, so
yeah,
I'll be able to do some live reporting from there because technically, actually, one of the shows is on Saturday, so I'll have to figure out how we're going to do that.
yeah. We'll figure it out.
Well, I volunteered to
Um,
present, so if they
Ooh, fun.
actually ask me to do that, then I'll have to be there for like rehearsal and stuff. But if not, I should be able to do the show no problem because the awards wouldn't start until later because I'm 2 hours
Yeah.
earlier on California time. If not, we could always do a slightly earlier show that week depending on your schedule.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Also, oh, thank you. Oscar Film Forecast, also a great channel if anybody wants Oscars content. Um, Also, Killers of the Flower Moon was delayed to next year,
Mm.
which is kind of sad because I was looking forward to it. But I mean, yeah, it's also the most sad thing about that is that Apple's biggest movie coming out this year is The Greatest
Mm.
Era Ever by none other than Peter Farrelly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to cry, but for different reasons than the blonde cinematography. Um, but anyways, I won't bore everybody with awards talk. That's what my channel is
No, we're
for.
never bored with that. No, we actually, I'm sure that once we start getting into award season, that we're going to have entire episodes that are probably just talking about
Yeah,
awards. I mean, it's a great time of year
I
to be a
love it so
movie
much.
fan.
Speaking of awards, I did get this in the mail, and I'm so excited.
Oh, so cool.
Drive My Car in Criterion, one of my absolute favorites from last year. I'm so sad I saw it after um, basement voting because uh, it should have won a lot of things. Which, speaking of, we're nearing when we'll start working on our basement awards.
That's
And
true.
we gotta reach out to some people, get them in the voting group.
That's
So
right. Hey, Adam Witt, I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, you should volunteer. But if you're not here, then I'm not going to tell you because I'm testing your loyalty.
we'll see. We'll see. The only Oscars I care about are the Grouch and Madison. Speaking of Oscar the Grouch, supposedly next year is when we get the Sesame Street movie with songs written by Bo Burnham, and I could not be more excited.
You
I
know, it's
mean,
funny. We went back and watched an old episode of Sesame Street for I don't remember why. And yeah, kids entertainment, and I'm not just saying it because I was a kid when I was watching Sesame Street, but kids entertainment used to actually like try to educate kids and teach them lessons and also like teach them Spanish and like exercise your like mental capacities about things like shapes and the alphabet and stuff, and not just like Coco Melon where it's like the wheels on the bus go round and round because your parents just want you to shut up for 90 minutes. Like,
hmm
it's just, I couldn't have well, for a lot of
and
reasons, but I could not have a kid and show them Coco Melon. I would just feel like I was rotting my child's brain.
and you know who's perfect to write smart things that can appeal to children? Bo Burnham.
By
I
the way,
my
I'm trying to get my hands on, does anyone know where I can find Shalom Sesame? Because that was super huge for me as a kid, and I can't find it on Amazon. Like, I can't find it anywhere to buy. So if anybody knows where I can find Shalom Sesame, please give a girl a hand.
Sorry, Brandy's comment.
That's fair. I can
That's
understand that.
very
That's
fair.
fair. I used to have a nightmare about VeggieTales, which is weird because I never saw them, but I also didn't know VeggieTales was like an overtly religious based
Mm-hmm.
program. And
Yeah.
I had this recurring nightmare where Larry the Tomato found out I was Jewish and made me walk the plank on the VeggieTales pirate ship. My therapist, I thought I was like just kind of telling this fun anecdote
That's
one day, and my therapist was just like, "There's so much to unpack with that," and I was like, "Oh God, what did we do?" And we spent months on it, months.
that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Wait, speaking of, have you been speaking? What's this transition? Speaking of Jewish, have you been? Did you did you see the did you see the details about the Fablemans?
Oh, I'm sorry. Which one is the
Yeah, it's
tomato
Bob the
con?
tomato. It's Bob. Bob
Ah.
is the tomato.
Oh, well, see, that's what
Um,
I mean. I never watched it.
um,
That maybe that's why they came
but
after me.
but have you seen the details about the Fablemans? Which, first of all, is going to Toronto International Film Festival. But yeah, it's going to be about like the
Yeah.
anti-Semitism he faced in school. I
I'm very,
mean,
very excited.
also David Lynch is playing Tom Ford. So like, not Tom Ford. Who's the one I'm thinking of? The director. What's the
Uh,
last name Ford?
uh oh,
John Ford. Sorry,
thank you. I was
John
gonna say,
Ford.
yeah,
I know I said Tom.
the, no, that's okay. My brain was like, yeah, of course, that's a person. And it is a
Yeah,
person, just not that person.
it is a person. Yeah, but no, David Lynch is going to be playing John Ford, and so
I'm
that's
really
cool.
excited. I mean, I try not to really think about early buzz and things like that, but the fleeting amount of stuff I've allowed myself to be exposed to has just been like uh home run, like swan song, everything.
Yeah. But it's cool because people are thinking like, oh, this is gonna be Spielberg's last thing. But then he's also doing a remake of Bullet after this, like the car chase movie. And it's like, cool. Like, just Spielberg's having fun at this point. He's just remaking his favorite things. He's doing whatever he wants. And like, I'm here for it. I'm here for the Spielberg just like doing whatever he wants era.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Um
also okay. So to address just quickly, Oscar Film Forecast said that Lynch didn't have a mystery film after all. So I'm very curious. So did you hear about any of this, Mara?
I don't know.
So David Lynch. So there was this rumor that broke, I think, from Deadline, right before the Cannes Film Festival lineup announcement, that David Lynch was going to be returning to Cannes with the film that he'd been shooting in secret, starring Laura Dern. And
Oh.
all of the Cannes people were initially like, oh no, that's just a rumor, it isn't true. And then a couple days beforehand, there were some people who were like worked on the Cannes like organizing committee stuff who were like, no, actually, like this is a thing, and who are like associated with Cannes. And then announcement day came, and it just obviously, it just wasn't, it didn't exist. So I think that there are three possibilities. One, the movie like did exist and it was going to premiere there. But then once the rumor broke, David Lynch decided to pull it to mess with us, and it's going to be coming out at next Cannes Film Festival. Second option
Oh.
is that the movie existed, but it was never supposed to be like necessarily at Cannes. It was just done, and it might be next year sometime. Or David Lynch just told the Cannes officials to say that just to mess with all of us, which I think is probably the most David Lynch thing to do. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody uh um watch David Lynch's weather reports?
Uh, I didn't know this was a thing.
Wait, really?
Right, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, just a second. Dropping a link in the chat. Um, yeah, no, David Lynch does weekly weather reports.
Why?
Well, no, they're well. Sorry, the weather reports are daily, and then he does like a weekly thing. But no, here, let me get the channel. Um, he does videos every day talking about the weather that are like 2 minutes long, and it's just David Lynch sitting in like a corner in his house on it like his iPhone. Um, and it's great. And yeah, he also does in picking a number. They're incredible. Currently putting them in the chat.
Okay.
David
Alrighty.
Lynch is the most like I really want to meet David Lynch before he dies.
Wow.
because
Are you trying to say something?
no, no,
Are you forecasting his demise imminently? Oh
much like
gosh,
he
Trevor.
forecasts the weather. Um, but yeah, I believe I just dropped it in the chat because I just love David Lynch.
Where?
Um, did it not go through in the chat?
I don't know.
I'll send it in the private
There
chat,
we go. All
and you
right,
can.
I got
Okay. Um, but
it.
yeah, love David Lynch. And I hope that he actually does have a movie coming out. Um, yes. See, Craig has a great. You can't meet anyone after they die. It's very fair. Mara, I'm assuming that face is you're looking at the YouTube channel. It's David Lynch Theater is the name of the channel if you guys want to pull it up. Yeah, no, it's incredible. He just makes videos every day, and they all get like 3,000-4,000 views. And it's really funny. He like will like shake the camera around and yell like, "Today is Friday," and it's very fun. Anyways, I hope I've been able to introduce all of you to something absolutely incredible. You know, I are you watching a
What is
video right now?
happening?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's been yeah, there's some crowds rolling in.
He's talking about sleeping cars, and I don't understand why. I don't care that none of you can see this. I don't care.
uh Adam Witt does do an incredible he did it for I think Drew's birthday stream either last year or the year before. He did a an impression of David Lynch doing a weather report. Um
Okay, so here's the thing that I really need to say this. The best part is the cadence with which this happens. It is
yes.
100% old man cadence. The
Mhm.
temperature today is going to be a high of 86 degrees. Like it's the long, deliberate pausing that like a lot of older
Yeah.
people sometimes tend to do. Whether it's that like they're just like waiting for their brain to catch up with their mouth, or that they're just being deliberate and making sure that that they're speaking with purpose, or just that they want dramatic, because like they know they captivate our attention because the wisdom of older
Yeah.
people is definitely underappreciated. But like it's the long, specific pauses.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this was a thing, but yeah, yes, please.
And also his just picking a number every day is also great. You know, I hope that he has like these like pre-recorded um yeah, Amber, okay, that was 2021. I hope that he has these pre-recorded like for just like 10 years in the future, just one for every day. So that way like even after he dies, they just keep on coming out every single day, and like he just like does a weather report every day after his death.
Oh,
Like that would be
wow.
incredible. Just going full Videodrome.
Yes.
For those who have seen it. Um
Wow.
yeah, there is an account dedicated to his number of the day. It's guy like David Lynch, just one of the greatest minds of our time. I'm not pushing hard for his death. I'm just saying I think David Lynch is a man that will
I
do
would be
something
really
very fun
worried.
with his death.
Sir,
I
Mr.
think
Lynch, please watch yourself.
like I could see David Lynch like pretending that he died and then showing up at his own funeral just for like a joke. Like, and that is legitimately something that I think could actually happen for David Lynch. Like have it live stream on his YouTube channel and then just show up and give a speech. Like it's David Lynch is an incredible human being, and I just
I'm very
everything
concerned
that
for
that man
him.
does.
You realize that if something like happens, if there's a train accident
Yeah.
tomorrow and he dies, people are going to need to investigate you. You realize that, right?
We need to clip this and tweet it at him.
No! I don't want him to
This might
think
be
that
the
someone's
most.
plotting his death. Oh my god.
No, I honestly think he'd be into it. David hit me up. Sorry, that.
This has been an interesting one for sure. I'd like to say that it's
Hmm.
fever driven, but I'm pretty sure that that I'm not fevered right now.
I also just uh, don't have COVID. This is just.
That you know
Yeah, yeah,
of.
yeah. Well, that's true. Guys,
Maybe
I
you're
studied David Lynch in
asymptomatic.
art school for postmodernism class. I had to watch his movies of ants eating animal corpses. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch that?
Mm-hmm.
It's I got Eraserhead also in the Criterion sale. It's very dangerous. I might order another thing tomorrow because Barnes and Noble is having a sale. It's last day.
Are you really?
Yeah. Month long sale of all July.
Oh yeah, July's almost over. One more day.
Yeah. um.
How
Anyways, now
fitting
that
though that
we've
it's a
talked,
Sunday.
uh, now that we've talked about David Lynch's death enough
Extensively.
extensively, should we should
At least
um
like there are two really old famous people whose deaths are going to really rock me, and I'm really glad we haven't talked about either of the two of them because if you actually forecast their death and then it happens, I may not be able to forgive you.
I can I know these people?
I'll tell you in the private chat.
Okay. One that's going to be coming soon that's going to bother me a lot is Anthony Hopkins.
Oh God, don't say it. Ugh. Did you see the video of him like just dancing? I think it was
I
like
know
over
it's
a
so
week ago,
incredible.
but yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Because he's how old do we think Anthony Hopkins is?
88?
84.
Oh, okay.
Okay, wait. Game idea. Let's guess the age of actors.
Oh, okay. That's definitely a fun idea. I'm assuming we
All
do
right.
Prices Right rules when it's in competition, right?
Yes. Yeah. Um. All right. Let's see. Let me just Google most famous people, most famous actors. All right. Um. Here we go. First one. Tom Hanks. How old is Tom Hanks? I'm feeling like I'm gonna guess 64.
I'm gonna say 62.
All right. Googling. He is 66.
Wow. Wow,
All right.
really? When did it happen?
Chris Evans.
I think he just turned 42. Oh, maybe it was 41. I think it's 41.
I'm gonna say 42. Then, Chris Evans. He is 41.
Yeah. I don't
Close,
know why I
close,
know
close.
that so specifically.
Yeah, that's actually kind of
I think
odd
he's
there.
also a Gemini. Maybe that's part of it.
I don't know what any of those things are.
I'm pretty sure
I
he's
mean, I
born
know
in
what they
June,
are,
an
but yeah.
early-ish June, like the 13th or something. Someone fact check that. Is his birthday June 13th? And why do I know that?
Um. All right. Morgan Freeman, God
Oh
himself.
God, he's really old.
89.
I'm gonna say 86.
Morgan Freeman is 85.
Dang
Left
it.
over.
Wow, I don't
Left.
know why I knew that, Brandy. But that does make him a Gemini.
Okay. Well, she's dead, but Betty White.
Oh, well, she would have been 100, so I guess she was
Right.
99 when she
So,
died.
yeah. So, right, because it was right before her 100th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So, 99. Yeah. Okay, we're right on that one. Samuel L. Jackson.
73.
I'm going to go 77. Wow, you got it spot on. Jesus. 73. Mara, you're
Oh,
obsessing over
Jesus, I
people's
think, was
age too
much
much.
younger.
Uh, wait,
That's
how?
true, by the way.
Okay, okay.
Kaiser did work with Morgan Freeman.
He did.
Yeah, he was his assistant. He calls
Wow.
him Morgan.
They're on a first name basis.
I mean, when he talks about him, he just calls him Morgan. It's really
Oh.
cool.
Okay, okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. Uh, speaking of, how old was Jesus when he died? Gonna say
Okay,
like,
is this fair for the Jewish person to participate?
I have no clue. Um, I'm gonna say
I
like
don't know.
30.
Night tea? No, wait. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I'm still gonna stay with say 19 because I said it once. I'm just gonna say
He
it.
was 33 supposedly.
Good job.
And to be fair, he was Jewish.
I know, but but Jewish people don't study him.
Uh,
Oh, by the way, I
oh, we
actually
get
saw
it.
that we did get a Streamlabs from our friend Movie Finobi. Uh,
Thank
sorry,
you.
I can't hang tonight. Hope you are both well. Loved Dan's Picard rant. It's canon now. Enjoy the weekend, Steve.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I should also really plug the Picard season 2 video because he worked on it so long and I helped. And you know, it, it's really well constructed. Even if you haven't seen the show, I think you would understand some of the criticisms that he had. It's, I mean, it truly did break his spirit a little bit. So, I mean, it's wonderful to behold. So please tune in if you would like to see
Yes,
Dan
absolutely.
be
I haven't
kind of
even seen
sad.
Picard, and it was great. Um,
Oh,
the
you watched
video.
it? Thank you.
Um, just going back to everything Maxwell said, Sondheim is the one that destroyed me. I was at a college football game and started crying in the bleachers. Yeah, Sondheim was rough. We have suggestions here. Mel Brooks. How old is Mel Brooks? I'm gonna say
Oh,
82.
he's so old. I'm gonna say 88.
Really? That?
I think he's in his
Let's see.
90s or something. He's super old.
Oh my God, 90. Mel Brooks is 96.
Dang it, I was gonna say 94.
Wow, I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, he's up there.
Dick Van Dyke. He's still alive. Um, 95.
92.
96.
Wow. Wow.
And Angela Lansbury. I'm just gonna stick with 95.
I'm gonna stick with 92 again because you know what? Why not?
It was also 96.
Dang it, everyone is 96 right now.
Yeah, yeah. Gary Oldman. Um, let's see. How many women has he beaten? See if we can reverse engineer it. Sorry, that was more.
72?
Gonna say 66. He is 64.
Oh, wow.
Close.
I think it's mostly because he's well, of late, he's done roles that have required makeup, and I don't think I know what he actually looks like right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Brandy says now guess all our ages.
3.
um, let's see. William Shatner.
Oh, he's super freaking old. He's like 94 years old.
I'm gonna say 89.
I mean, I think he's like super freaking old, right? Isn't he like in
91.
his 90s?
91.
Ah,
That
dang
was
it.
closer. Uh, let's see. Let's see. What else? What else? What else?
Oh,
Uh, same. Same.
facts.
You know what his last movie was?
No.
His last movie, if I remember correctly, was the sequel to A Mouse Tale. Uh, or was it A Mouse Tale? Or sorry, An American Tale, the other one. An
Oh,
American
Five
Tale,
Goes West.
Five Goes West. Yes, I believe. I don't know. Why I said A Mouse Tale.
Wow.
And I believe that was Jimmy Stewart's last movie. An American Tale, Five Goes West.
Wow.
I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm
A mouse tail.
gonna tell Dan you said that one.
Um, yeah. Yeah, Chadwick Boseman was also
Ooh,
rough.
let's do this one as our last one.
Okay, Maggie Smith, like 102. No, I would say like 93.
You know what? I'm gonna say 92 again because I am really gonna trust that this time it will work in my favor. If
All
she's
right.
96, I'm quitting.
Maggie Smith is 87. Oh, we were a bit too harsh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dame Maggie,
Apologies, Maggie.
because we're on a first name basis.
Yeah, no, we were Maggie Smith's assistant. Um, Maggie and Morgan. Um, it's like what was the Victorian Abdul, that random, I think that was Helen Mirren thing. That
No,
was
that was Dame Judy.
Oh, I get all of them confused. All the old British women. I know, I know. It's Judy. They both have things coming out this year. At least a couple of them. Are you familiar with what they're all doing?
Well, Helen Mirren is doing that White Dove movie, which, I mean, maybe she
Oh,
wants a vacation
Whitebird.
house. White Bird,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It looks dumb. It's like the laziest thing ever to be like, hey, remember the Holocaust? People didn't like Jews.
I actually didn't remember. That's crazy. Um, yeah. Uh, um, Judy Dench is doing a movie called Alleluia, which is based off of a play. And she's gonna be. It's a dark comedy
Oh,
about a woman dying in a hospital, I think.
sounds delightful.
Um, and then this thing looks not great. So Helen Mirren is doing a film called Golda, and it is a biopic about Golda Meir, who's known as the Iron Lady of Israel.
Oh, yeah.
She is in an insane amount of makeup that is kind of uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm looking right now.
It yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
yeah, it's unsettling. Look
I
up Golda. It's
I
I
am. I don't understand.
yeah, I was telling yeah. So I it just she looks like she's dead inside. And it just like it looks so fake. It looks bad. I don't know. I was researching this just for uh Golden Meyer, thank you. But like I yeah, I don't know. I was looking at this just for Oscars stuff. I was trying to find makeup contenders for my early predictions, because as we all know, I'm unhealthily obsessed with that thing. And I came across this because there's lots of makeup and it's a biopic and it doesn't look good.
Well, I'm very, very excited to see this now.
Maxwell has a question in the chat. He said thoughts on non-Jewish actors playing likable real life Jewish characters.
I think it depends on the context. Um, I think that it's what is a movie intending to do, because I think that acting is playing make believe, and I think that the idea that you can have empathy for another person and try to impart some of their experience on other people in a meaningful way doesn't have to be, it's not appropriation depending on how it's done. Like I also think, for example, like filmmakers, like Lee Wanell made one of the most amazing, realistic, gripping dramas about being a female domestic violence survivor, and he is a white man, like he, just regular old guy who clearly did the research and consulted with survivors. I'm sure Elizabeth Moss did the same thing in research for her role. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to be something to portray something or to tell a story about it, but it also really depends on what you're trying to say, because if you're trying to impart true gravity, like for example, I really think that it would have been almost impossible. I don't want to say impossible, but almost impossible to make a movie that came from such a moving place as Schindler's List if you didn't have a Jewish filmmaker. But I'm not saying someone couldn't have or shouldn't have. I just mean that I don't think it would feel the same coming from someone else that didn't have a connection to experience in such a
Like,
profound way. But again, that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't
yeah,
want
I
to
mean, there's
say
something to be said
objectively that
about
like
passion.
it's right
Like,
or it's wrong to do one thing one way or the other.
I think it's bad to overgeneralize. I don't think that we should ever like just set rules for things. But I think the best thing that you can do is look at past precedent. Like, don't say like what should and shouldn't be done in the future, but look at past precedent and see how things have turned out with both cases.
Hmm.
Um, and like, I mean, yeah, as you said, it's plain make believe, but there's also a certain point where it can become insensitive, and you need to, if you need to use that much makeup and it is looking like that, maybe not. But like Guy Nativ, the director, he's also made some interesting stuff to say. Yeah, in the past, he made a movie called Skin, which I just look it up if you're curious. It's yeah. Uh, um,
I don't feel like I'm
uh,
old enough for this. And you definitely
but
aren't.
um, yeah, Nick bringing up the Shazam sequel. Sure, I guess. I know. I'm more excited just for Rachel Zegler. Um, because like, I love Rachel Zegler. Too much makeup ruins biopics. Yes. What also ruins biopics is trying to like just
Hi,
be a
cat.
Wikipedia article. That makeup and being a Wikipedia article usually quite frustrating. One
Hi,
of the
bud.
many reasons why I absolutely adored Spencer. Minimalist makeup, and it told a story that I think encapsulated Diana in just a weekend. Also, why I love Jackie by Pablo Larraín. I very much enjoy that type of biopic. Judas and the Black Messiah. Like, it told a story over a couple of months. We didn't need to see Fred Hampton growing up his entire life. That type of bullet point Wikipedia biopic just bothers me so much. Um, yeah, no, I agreed. Rocket Man, it being just like a flat out musical was fun, even though it did do the bullet point thing. It wasn't just like this is one of the things that bothered me about Isa Tammy Faye. I think Chastain was very good, but like I think it did over rely on makeup, and it was just bullet point at times. So like, I don't know. I think Respect was like the worst
Ugh.
victim of that last year because Respect was awful. Like
Same, by the
Jennifer
way.
Hudson was like good, but yeah. Um, yeah, I think it depends for me, but like typically, I mean, just like that in a nutshell with being the Ricardos versus Lucy and Desi. uh, hated being the Ricardos. Lucy and Desi was pretty good. Like it, yeah, I know. I'm curious to see what they do with Blonde. I'm very excited for from a filmmaking perspective. Curious to see
I'm
how
really
everything
excited to
shakes
see if
out.
they've sorted out the accent issues.
Yeah, yeah. Selma as well. I would agree. Maxwell, yeah. Um, like I don't know. I feel like you can learn so much more about like we all know what they did, but let's learn more about like I don't know. I like let's make it more about trying to learn who that person was rather than just telling what they did.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah. And like with what Garth is saying, too many biopics change many facts and make it more fiction. I honestly don't care about that too much. Like, it's a film. If you want history, you look up like what actually happened. I think film you can take some uh like liberties with what actually happened, and I think that that's okay as long as they're done. I think respectfully and still align with the truth. I mean, which is something that Spencer did. Like, it's telling a fictional story. And obviously the royal family wasn't okay with that. But also, I don't really care what the royal family says because they aren't that great. And maybe like kind of not great to Diana, or just the women or people of color or just anybody that's not like rich and white like them. Um, uh, but yeah, but then you have things like Greatest Showman, which you shouldn't alter the morals of who a person was. I think you can change narratively like some things that happened in their life, but like if it was an intrinsic part of who they were, or paints a bad person to be a good person, or like with Bohemian Rhapsody, just completely altering like how his sexuality was perceived, with Freddie Mercury, just just completely ignoring like quite literally saying no, you are not bisexual. Like there are some very bothering things, but just I don't know. I think just like taking some liberties with what happened, as long as it remains true to who the person actually was, I don't have that much of a problem with.
By the way,
Um,
I want to make sure I mention that Garth did send us in a suggestion for a number of other actors slash personalities to age guess, but we'll do those next week.
we could also do them with Robbie.
We could wait and do them with Robbie if we want to.
So yeah. Simon said there's a Doc of Diana that's coming to Netflix that's supposed to be really good. There's one called The Princess that I think is going to HBO Max, which both of us saw at Sundance, which I enjoyed.
Yes, really loved it.
But yeah, which is done all with archive footage, which is a very interesting way to do a doc. Yeah, Garth also being Ramsey had him coming out with AIDS before Live Aid, which wasn't true. That movie just rubs me the wrong way in so many different ways. Like, first of all, a cover band concert isn't a movie, and second of all, just horribly mishandled Freddie Mercury's sexuality. Like having him realizing that he was like bi, even though the movie says he isn't bi, but him realizing that he was bi being something that was like forced upon him rather than him just being like, it's just, I don't know, that movie just horribly mishandles his sexuality. It's, yeah, I don't know, it just hate that movie a lot. It's one of my least favorite films of all time. That year, between that and Green Book both being Best Picture nominees, like that has two Best Picture nominees in 2018 that are two of my least favorite movies ever made. So yeah.
And on that note,
and Garth now threatening the death of many people. Very fun.
excuse me. I do think that I might be running out of steam here.
Yeah. And I will defend Vice until the day I die. But
oh, also yes, Patrick Willems, love his videos.
Patrick Willems is great. There's some great video essayists out there. But yeah, no, Patrick Willems is great. I will absolutely defend Vice until the day I die. It is not McKay's most subtle thing, but it's also just nice having a movie that's saying, hey, all of the things that you think about politics are right. You're validated in all those things. And I watched it in a time where I was surrounded by people that were saying, no, this is not right. So I watched it at a very specific point in my life where it worked very well. I recognize all of its flaws, but I think it's a good movie. Even though it contradicts literally everything I just said about biopics. It made me feel good.
Well, there you go. And sometimes you need that.
Yep. Mara getting off the show will probably make you feel good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to eat something and then sleep.
That's fair.
But we'll be back next week. So excited.
Sorry, William Harold in the chat.
It's also just funny because of the title of the episode.
Yeah, well, I think that was the joke.
Yes. Excuse me. Well, I've got our social medias linked in the description, and we will be talking about some other new releases next week. I will continue watching Phase 3 of the MCU and Healing and Bodies. Very exciting. So we hope we see everybody there. Also, please stay safe, everybody.
Yes.
It's just so good to be back.
This was the chaos of the basement. From movies
it was
to
exactly what
the
you
death
wanted.
of David Lynch.
Oh, good grief.